What's up, Knights? Xantos here. It's been a while since my last video. I've been direly grinding in game and trying to take that next step up as a knight. If we take a quick peek here, I actually obtained my first piece of usable gold armor. Really happy about it. It's this lovely double bow tie status resistance heavy armor. Really happy about it. Popped my first purple bow tie charm into it, and with all of that, my armor has taken the jump up to, take a quick peek here, 55,000 total armor. Along with that in game, I've actually become a millionaire as well. Pretty happy about that, been grinding like crazy. In today's video, we're going to be taking a peek at some of the coming updates and just my thoughts on them. We're going to be taking a peek at part 1 and part 2 of what they have out so far. With the next update, part 1, quality of life. Greetings, brave knights. It's that time again when we start giving you a heads up as to what's coming in the next update. The next update has plenty of what's generally referred to as quality of life changes. We've listened to your feedback about the changes that can be made to make playing the game more enjoyable. These include equipment locking. You'll be able to lock the weapons and armor you want to keep, preventing accidental dismantling or transmutation. Multiple raids, you'll be able to raid and hunt multiple times in one go. Bulk dismantle, you'll be able to dismantle multiple items in one go from the backpack, plus lots more. In part 2 of the update, we'll be talking about rarity changes. Now, I'm just gonna cover part 1 pretty quickly because it's not too much of a big change in game. The equipment locking, I think, is pretty nice. If you do have the piece of armor that you don't want to accidentally dismantle or something like that, you can just lock it now, preventing that accidental rage when you dismantle something that you didn't want to. The multiple raiding, I think that's handy if you're just quickly on the go. Maybe you're at work or something and you just want to utilize a little bulk of your stamina pretty quickly, so that your knight's not sitting there with full stamina. I think that's a pretty cool idea. And along with the bulk dismantle, that's lovely. You can just go into your backpack, dismantle a whole bunch of things at once. All of those are nice little quality of life updates that I don't think anyone should worry too much about in game. It's all really good stuff. If we take a peek at part 2, rarity and power. This is going to be a large focus of the video today because I think a lot of people are really worried about this, and I really don't think they should be. It says, greetings, brave knights. This preview covers a slightly bigger change that we're making in the upcoming update, this time involving rarity. You told us that sometimes getting higher rarity equipment or heroes didn't always feel more powerful. This was particularly true for weapons, where sometimes the charm slots may not gel particularly well with your own playstyle. As we want getting an item of higher rarity to be an exciting moment that will help you to progress, we've made a few changes. Weapons, the base damage will now scale more with rarity. Keep in mind here, all of these things here say more. Nothing here says less. The base damage of weapons will now scale more with rarity. The base armor value of armor will now scale more with rarity. And heroes, the base damage and healing of heroes will now scale more with rarity. As a result, a few other things have been balanced. The enemies have had their difficulties tweaked, and the gauntlet has also been made more powerful, so it doesn't suddenly feel very weak compared to a higher rarity weapon. In addition to the above, there's been a few visual improvements for when your knights swinging their fancy weapons about. As well, some new UI elements during the battle that gives you a little more information about the damage you're doing. In part 3, they're going to be covering some guild tweaks as well, but today we're going to be focusing mainly on what I think this update is going to be changing. I just wanted to go over this post by Luis Campos. I believe that's how you say his name. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. But he had a pretty good post. And it says, please, Midoki, be careful with the changes. First of all, I need to say that we already love Knighthood the way it is. I've seen so many good ideas and suggestions about new content, tweaks to the Onslaught dungeon, PvP changes, new game modes, endgame, and so I'm kind of scared with today's message about the base damage and healing will now scale with more rarity, and the enemies have had their difficulties tweaked. This means that heroes like Titania and Anara, who most players are able to max star, are about to be nerfed, while unique heroes that most of players will never be able to max star are getting buffed. You told us that sometimes getting higher rarity equipment or heroes didn't always feel more powerful. To be honest, I can't remember of anyone complaining about this. Please, don't get me wrong, we all appreciate small tweaks, however, we already love Knighthood, so be careful when changing the core of the game, specifically if the community is not asking for such change. I am writing this now because I don't want to watch the same drama as the last time when roaming monster chests were removed. So please, Madoki, be careful with this changes. Make sure to do just small tweaks instead of huge changes. Please direct your efforts new features instead of changing things that we already love. From a player who loves and supports your game. Now, I just wanted to comment on this because I feel like this player here is really worried that some of his favorite heroes that he uses quite a bit, like Titania and Anara and maybe Aaron or Tristan, the green heroes essentially, are going to be getting weaker. And I don't think that's what their idea is behind this. I think they potentially could just keep green heroes the way that they are, because they're already very effective in game already, and they're very useful, but their usefulness almost outmatches the unique rarity heroes because of sheer accessibility. I think what they're going to do is keep the green heroes as very useful heroes, and on the flip side, just make a unique hero much more desirable. So while your heroes like Titania and Anara are still going to be very useful and can still get you through the game, if you did, however, pull a unique hero, they would be much more useful to you eventually. I believe what they're trying to do with this is make it better for us, and not make it less accessible to us. Taking a look at the green rarity heroes here, like Titania and Anara, I don't believe these heroes are going to become any weaker in any way. I still think these are going to be phenomenal heroes that are extremely useful to you in game. Titania has been by my side since the very start of the game. She's a great hero, obviously, for the protect on her rage power, the focus that she gives with her base power once you get her to full stars, as well as the regenerate. She's just great. She's healing you, protecting you, and buffing you all at the same time. Anara, another great hero, protect on her base power, a rage power that burns enemies for 3 turns and smacks all enemies on the field. I still think these heroes are going to be great, because what they focused on in what they said there was that they would be giving heroes of greater rarity more power, not debuffing heroes of lower rarity. I think what they plan to do is, on the flip side of having Titania as a really great healer that you get early on in the game that you'll utilize for a very long time, they'll make a hero like Lance, who has a very similar rage power to Titania, more desirable for you, so that it's something to grind for, so that when you do eventually get Lance, you could level him up even more to become an even more powerful hero than Titania for healing, just for a rage power, for an example. Along with this, maybe taking a peek at, let's say, Grizz. He's an undead hero who's currently not really very useful in game. He's kind of outclassed by other heroes such as Anara. I think what they'll do is make this legendary hero more desirable, more his powers to be stronger and greater, so that while Anara will still be a great hero that is very useful, Grizz will also be a compatible hero that could be different in tactical ways. That's what I think they're going to be doing with this update. I don't think that people should worry about their heroes becoming nerfed and becoming less powerful. Another thing that I wanted to discuss in this video is actually this little game news thing that we got that discusses rarity changes. If you're a diehard Knighthood player, this is a must read. The updates are very well discussed in this article, and I highly suggest checking it out. Essentially, in this article, it discusses how you'll never forget crafting your first legendary, that epic moment when you finally took a step up, and the results used to be not all that exciting. The increase that you got was not too phenomenal. So what they're discussing and what their goals were in this is that the overall feel should be that higher rarity is noticeably more powerful. That's the goal. If you are able to complete a hunt in 10 turns with a rare weapon, having an epic weapon should shave off a few turns. If you wear epic armor to fight and end with your health down to half, the same fight in legendary armor should end with you having more health. A rare minion should be worth leveling up, even if your common minion is a very high level. Getting 3 stars in a hunt that expects a common or rare rarity in your gear and heroes should be much easier if you got higher rarity gear. We also think this will smooth out some of the sticking points in the campaign progression, not that it matters to our vets. The main discussion point that I wanted to talk about in this is the actual numbers, the actual value that your attack and defenses will be getting an increase. Weapon damage, armor value, hero damage, and healing all used to increase by 10% base amount as you went up a tier. That is now 25%. That's huge. That's a big increase. This increase will be applied for some additions and deductions for a specific feature of the power. Example, life drain, area effect, distributed damage, etc. So fair warning, anyone crunching numbers should know that the results might not appear as 25% in all comparisons at all times. Minions used to increase damage or healing by a base value of 25% as you went up in tiers. That is now 40%. Let me emphasize that those are base percentages. There are many additional factors and elements that can affect your actual numbers. Them sharing this information is an experiment. They're trying to be straight up with us. They're letting you know what the change is going to be before it happens. And I think that's really nice of Knighthood to go out there and let their community know what's coming. There's some concern that people will say you take 25% and then come back and say, you lied, it was actually 21% when I tried it this one time, or flood us with bug reports. But if most of the people working on this post with me are confident that anyone who cares enough to read my novels will understand that base percentages, RNG, and the impact of charms, stars, and other factors. If you like this transparency, please let Knighthood know, because they're trying something new with this, and I think that's really good of them. These percentage changes are going to be really big, and we're actually just going to hop over to my night now and take a quick peek at them. Okay, so for today's example, we're going to be taking a peek at 3 different helmets, all at level 45, and all with different rarities. The first helmet that we have is the epic Purist Commander's Helm. At level 45, it has a max defensive stat of 3,913. We're also going to be looking at the legendary Dakar War Chief Helm, which has a max defensive stat of 4,244. This is a legendary item. And lastly, we'll be taking a peek at the unique helmet, the Inferno Helmet, which has a max defensive stat right now of 4,577. Now, the separation in percentages between these helmets in max defensive stat is only 10%. So each time you go up in rarity, you're getting an extra 10% armor. With this update, what they're going to do is make it so that you'll get a 25% increase when you take that next step into the next level of armor now, which means that the base armor that these items can have are going to be changed. They're going to be increased in value, and what that means is you'll see the legendary helmet go up in defensive value, and because of that, any bow ties that you may have in it will also go up because they boost your overall armor stat. This will add a really good separation in the game. I think that is very much needed right now. The difference between armors is not too much. The extra charm slot is definitely handy, but the difference in strengths isn't too much. And with this update of the equipment having different strength levels, it'll add a good separation, I think, that's needed for PvP and along with PvE. Thank you very much, Knights, for tuning into my discussion video today on part 1 and part 2 of the coming update. I'm going to attempt to do another video if there's any further updates that come out in-game that I feel I should cover and discuss with the community. I hope this video has put some people that were a little bit stressed about the coming update at ease. Because I really don't think this is an update that's the same case as the removing the roaming monster chest. I think this is an update that's really going to make the game a lot more interesting, and I think that Knights should honestly look forward to it. They're really putting a lot of thought into this, and a lot of time into the development of it, and it's not something that's just being rushed and thrown out there, so people should definitely look forward to it. Thank you so much again for tuning into the video today. If you enjoyed, please smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed to my channel. It's a small channel now, but it's growing still. I'm going to try and be a little bit more consistent. And as always, Knights, stay grinding.